pretty blustery and windy out here on the beach. But what I'm going to do is actually fish out the back. There's a secret little spot behind the beach and we're going to be chasing mullet. Tuck myself away. It's a really different type of fishing for these mullet. They're incredibly frustrating. You can see them trying to take that bread off the surface, and they're very, very cautious feeders, and you've got to be ever so quiet. And it's not something we're used to, is it, as sea anglers? That more sort of subtle side of the art, really. This isn't going to be like a how-to video because I don't really know about these mullet. Small, I've got a size 6 hook. It's got a longer shank on there. Probably want a shorter shank, so we're going to put some bread on. And all I'm doing is using the bubble float there just to get it out. As always, with a salt or fresh water, those amber polarised help with the fish spotting, don't they? I'll braid on here simply because that's what I've got on my lure rod. Looks a bit heavy, doesn't it? We only need about £10 braid. It's 20. I'm gonna get that bread to float. You see the fish swim past, top right. I mean, I don't know whether they're thin or thick-lipped mullet. Perhaps you can tell me. He just missed that, he had a little look. Keeps breaking off. Yes, I'm in. Bully these fish, I don't think. Whoa. What a fight. You don't want to bully these fish, I don't think. Snapped off. Free line this bread, hopefully on the surface. They were very interested in feeding. It's annoying, obviously, to have lost that fish there. I don't know if that's going to put them off, so I'm going to go back and I've turned my back to this little spot, but I'm going to check if they're feeding still. But this time, obviously, I'm not going to have the float on this time. I have never caught or landed a mullet, so I'll say the tactics are very different to what we normally do in sea fishing, but it's lovely just to be out here. The hardest thing is going to be getting this bread on the hook, we'll see. So I'm just going to flick it out this time. Well, I keep showing this on the channel. This is this sticky gobble bait, and I wonder whether adding a little bit of this to the bread is going to make a difference. It might even enable us to get this bread on. This is really tricky for someone like me. What I really needed to do was get lots of different types of bread, because you really want to present this as light and as airy as possible. You can see it's sort of crumbling, isn't it? I'm sure there's mullet specialists screaming at me now, do this. So yeah, let us know underneath. But the problem with, you know, yes, it will stay on the hook like that. Oh, just one jumped in front. So I'll try a little bit of this here. So I was handed down this box. He says fishing gear on there. And this is really sort of what inspired me to go and have a little try for these mullets, because, I mean, look in here, look. These are little March Brown fly fishing flies, 28p, and that gives us some idea of how old this little tin was. Look at this line as well, silk cast, that modern fishing tackle. Well, obviously things move on and equipment gets better, and we wouldn't be using the top-notch stuff here, but I just thought it was interesting to show you this, really. Old floats, something you can use for the mullet. I don't think here though, because it's so shallow. I want to float fish that bread. I just thought it was really interesting. This was someone that didn't really fish, but obviously bought some stuff back in the day. I mean, these are lead shots, you know, they banned them now, I think, but there'll actually be lead in there. So these are spade end hooks, are size 12, which I think are going to be a bit small for the mullet. Well, we're having a go on some size 6, because that's all I've got. But I would imagine 8s or 10s might be the preference. Look at that. Came these 2 old reels. Now, I'd imagine these are like, you know, back in the day we'd go to a store that was called Woolworths. And here's a rarity, look at that, made in England. Well, I think these, well, I don't know whether they're thin or thick-lipped. Well, I think these are thick-lipped mullet, just by looking at them, but we're going to need to get one in the net, aren't we, to be sure. And then alongside it was one of these old rods. I don't know if you've ever heard of this brand before. What's that saying? Chevron. Minor match. It's 10-foot match rod. Obviously it's going to have quite a So we've gone for 0.19 fluorocarbon and those wide gaped hooks, Drennan ones. These are size 6, so a little bit of up in our game, and those mullets are still here. I see why they frustrate anglers, can't you? And we're still yet to get one in the net. I'm going to give it another go then with this old tackle, and hopefully they'll come up for this floating bread. Now, annoyingly, you'd think I'd know by now, but I pressed the wrong button on the camera, and after that fight I showed a really good release of the fish, showed how to get that hook out the mouth, and off it swam really powerfully. I forgot to press record, didn't I? So I'm sorry about that, but on this still, I think on this still you can see it was probably about 2 pounds. So I've done it. My first ever mullet, and what a fight it is as well. And we use that old tackle, and as you can see, I really struggled to use the old stuff. I think if I was targeting them again, something like a 25-gram lure rod would be something I would use, because that's what I'm used to, really. So it's worth targeting these mullet at the back of the beach. Lots of examples up and down the UK. Sometimes in between the big tides, the mullets sort of get trapped behind the beach. So it's always worth checking on Google Maps, see if there's somewhere near you that provides that. The only other caveat, of course, is you do need a freshwater licence for some parts, and also you might need landowners' permission as well. And some of it you don't need any permission, but I would suggest you check on that exact area that you're fishing. So I hope you give it a go, and I hope this has given you a good idea of what you can actually get when you're sea fishing in almost salt water. Some of this water is still brackish, which means it's not as salty as salt water, but there is more salt in it than fresh water, if that makes sense. So how about you? Have you got any tips you can give me? Because this is totally new for me, obviously, these mullet. I can see how people get quite addicted to them. Hopefully you'll find this video here really helpful. So I hope you give it a go, and I hope this has given you a good idea of what you can actually get when you're sea fishing in almost salt water. Well, I've really enjoyed those mullet today, and it was great to get obviously my personal best of about 2 pounds, just a little bit over 2 pounds, but also my first mullet as well. So I'm sure there's lots of ways I can improve with these fish. Thanks very much for watching.